everybody gotta do? What?
Alright, so welcome. Damn, sir, you're early. Yeah, I'm early. It's your boy, Japanese Tutor, back at it again with another endgame video. And this time we're going to talk about Knight Endgames. So we're going to go over Deflecting's endgame manual. That looks good. Thank you. Thank you. I spent a lot of time editing it, and even though I didn't make it, but I spent a lot of time editing it. So thank you. I like that people like my intro. All right, so we're going to go right into it. I'm going to set up the first position. And then after that, I'm going to read exactly what the text has in store for us. So white to move. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to read exactly what Mark Dvoretsky has for us. In examining the knight versus pawns endgame, simultaneously we learned quite a bit that is useful about knight endgame. So this is the previous chapter. This is episode 8 on the YouTube channel. Firstly, because the peculiarities of, okay, we'll skip ahead. Firstly, because of the knight, which we learned about, such as the distaste for rook pawns, because knights are not good against rook pawns, or its ability to fork or win tempi by checking the enemy king, also function here. And secondly, the knight must quite often be sacrificed in order to obtain a knight versus pawn endgame. So this is the subsection called the deflecting knight sacrifice. So we shall not be making a systematic examination of the endgame in which a knight faces a knight and a pawn. Its theory is quite complex and, in my view, rather chaotic. There are no principles which are operative in many positions, and the evaluation and the course of the struggle depend entirely upon concrete details. So the deflecting knight sacrifice is the almost universally employed technique in such endings. So this is what we're going to learn about right now, is the most common way to deal with this kind of stuff. And not only in these, there are many situations in which one side tries to queen its own pass pawn or to break into the enemy's camp with his king. Cool. So it's white to move. And he says that it's knight d4 first. Knight d4 check. Right? The king's in check. So knight takes d4. And then king f6. Not allowing the knight to go to these squares. And cutting off the knight basically from the pawn. The king goes, as we taught, one square diagonally away from the knight, which renders the h pawn unstoppable. So remember this, guys. If you go one step diagonally, they can never go here, and you pretty much limit the mobility because he still can't get here, right? He can't jump this way, right? He can't jump this way, right? He's still limited by the king. It's a very nice technique. Knight c2, h5, knight e3. It would be a mistake to push here because now he has this fork idea, right? So we play king g5, getting one square away, or two squares away diagonally from the knight. And knight c4, h6, and black resigned in view of knight e5, knight e5, h7, knight f7, king f6, h8, and we're winning the knight. And the king is not close enough. Had the king been maybe here, it would have been easy, or here, like here and then here, and then it could have been a draw. but the king is over here, so it's not. And we know that. Okay. Hey, Chess Challenger CR, welcome. We're doing our Knight Endgames. Okay, so let's go into the next diagram. We have another pawn over here. There's a knight. I think the exercises for these are going to be pretty fun. Knight's always pretty fun to deal with. So we got a 3 versus 2. Okay. So I'll read what he has in the text. In the next diagram, black may be a pawn down, but white's scattered pieces, and more importantly, the dangerous passed d pawn, supported by the excellently centralized king and knight, assure him the advantage. Okay, so we're going to go right into this. So here it is black to move, and he plays d3. King f1, knight c3. So he goes on and says, it's most important to deprive the white knight of the b5 square. The square right here. Which is exactly the square it needs to help the king battle the passed pawn as shown by the following variations. So let's say he plays, instead of knight c3, let's say he plays king d4. Then he plays knight b5 check, king e3, knight a3, threatening the check if he pushes. Yeah, d3, check. And after here, then we take on d2. And then when white draws without too much trouble, since the a pawn will draw one of black's pieces to the queen side. Interesting. And then the king can go over here, we'll exchange some pawns, and we're okay. Okay, so the next one, let's go. So if he plays d3, so instead of that, if he plays king c4, then you play a4. Then you play knight b5 after king b3, knight b5. King captures a4, knight d4. And we're going to be able to catch this pawn without too much trouble. Or put a king at least in front of the pawn. Okay, cool. So let's go over the good variations. All right, so knight c3. King e1 exclamation point. King d4. King d2. Knight e4 check. King c1. If you play king e1 here, or king d1, it would lose at once to king e3. So if you play here or here, it's going to lose to king e3. So let's say you play like knight b5. Oh, so knight b5 here. Sorry, I'm just coming back here. Knight b5, d2 check. If it were here, then you would have to move here and then we queen, right? Let's say that the king moved instead of there to here, then king e3, knight b5 here, d2, knight e4 check. What? Sorry, I might have messed up. Give me a second, guys. Knight e4 check. Oh, right, because my king's already on e3. So king e3, knight b5. d2, king c2, and then it gives this line to try to win. That doesn't win. Okay, I'm gonna play the line over, guys. I move. Oh, thank you, Twilight, for hosting the stream. And I would have moved b5 instead of f1 if I was white. Oh, like immediately? All right, so let's analyze alloy layers designs. So d3, knight b5, but I don't know, maybe I don't know. I think I can just push here and I'm queening next move. You can't stop the queen. Yeah. That's with the immediate knight b5, that's why you can't stop it. You have to play the king over. Knight c3. Sorry, knight c3. King e1. King d4, king d2. Check. All right, so I just want to look at the line where it says king d1 loses to e3, and then if knight b5. Okay, so it gives this line. If knight b5, d2 check. But the king can't go to c2 because it's on d2. Let's say he moves here. Then d2 wouldn't be check. Okay, he has his stuff wrong in the book. I'm just gonna go over the actual position. So you play king c3 instead with the knights. When after you play knight check, you play king c3. King c1. Knight d6. And he gives this a double exclamation point. The knight repositioned itself more favorably, all the while maintaining control over that vital b5 square. Meanwhile, white's knight has no other way to reach the pawn. Okay? So you're cutting off basically here, and you're cutting off this resource. So the only way to go is here. So knight c6 check, let's say, king c3, knight e7, threatening to go here, d2 check, king d1, knight e4, threatening here, and also when the king moves, and it also protects the pawn. And let's say the king moves, knight d5, and then you play king c4, saying, hey, you have to leave. Once it moves away, then you can come back over here, threatening checkmate. If it goes here, then you can also play here as well. So no matter the reply, you play king here. Very nice. So knight d6, king d2, knight c4, king c1, d2 check, king c2, king e3, knight b5. He says that if knight c6, you play knight b2. And he's saying that this is winning because of this. He can't stop it. If he takes, he can't stop the pass pawn. And my knight is also protecting the square for the pass pawn. Yep, that is true. All videos do get saved and they get uploaded to YouTube. So say hi to YouTube. Okay, so that's what happens after knight c6. So he gives knight b5. And then awesome move, knight a3 check. Deflecting, and this is the knight sacrifice, the deflecting knight sacrifice that we were talking about. The king's in check, right? And the way to get out of it is you can move the king, but that allows you to push here, or you can go under. If you go under, then I think I am just winning your knight for free, right? If you take my knight, then I play here, and I'm queening. And so here, white resigns after the knight a3 tactic. Very nice. So this series is all about, this subsection is all about how to use a deflecting knight sacrifice to your advantage. All right, so this next example is from Hernandez Sula in Saloniki in 1984. So I'm going to set up that position. How are you guys all doing today? I know it's earlier than when I usually stream, but I'm so ready to stream. It's like I can't go without streaming right now. Let this pawns out of here. Awesome. And it is white to move. Okay. So white played knight f8. And so these are the kind of moves that I love to see. Like it's just hidden. Like who sees this? Like I would try to like maybe like okay, my knight can't go here. Maybe my knight can like maneuver somehow here, here, and to attack, and he has to move his knight. Okay, but knight f8. And with the simple idea that if captures a knight, then king e6, right? And now I'm getting in the house. The knight sacrifice is the text. The knight sacrifice has allowed the king to invade the enemy camp. Black is in zugzwang, and on king g8, knight e7 decides it. Okay, so if he plays king g8, then you can go here, and then if that's basically game, because if he goes here, then we take this pawn attacking, then we take this pawn, and my pawns are gonna rule. Maybe I can come over here and take that pawn as well. Very nice. So he attempts a sacrifice of his own, takes hg, king captures d6, h5, king e7, h4, d6, h3, h2. This equals queen right here. Okay, let's get this out of here. This equals a queen. Let's get out of here. Queen f8 check. King h7. Queen f7 check. King h8. Something happened. Morris Zavich, thank you for hosting. All right. Thank you, Morris Zavich, and welcome to the stream. King h7. Queen f7 check. King h8. And it says that this is a win. Because no matter what, I'm just going to keep taking pawns, and I can just keep taking pawns. Cool. And we're the attacking side. All right, cool. So we do have some exercises for you guys, and exercises are always fun. There's pawns over here, there's pawns over here, there's a knight over here. Queens are off the board. There's another pawn here. Okay, so white to move. It is white to move and solve it. You have, I'm gonna give you a minute from when it starts. Glad I don't have to pronounce that name. It would be hard. Well, Morzevich is a very famous chess player. That's why I know his name. That's why I can say his name. So when the music starts, you can start. Also for the new viewers here, I'm solving these problems along with you guys. The answers are not in the book, so I have to just wanted to explain that to you guys why maybe I have a weird face on. So I'm gonna go back to calculating. All right, so if you guys have any answers, please let me know in the chat. So we'll see what's up. Do you guys have any answers? Now's the time to say it. Hmm. It seems darker than usual. I guess the sunlight is not out. So let me see if I can change the light. I guess I need to change my bulbs, like to fluorescent bulbs or something. I think I do have them. This seems like a lot of blue light is on me. I don't know. This one makes it look sick, but alright, I think it's better. Hmm. Okay, so which one is it? Is it king? Is it knight f6? Is it g7? Which one do you choose? And we'll go over them. Well, the pawn's already at e4, right? So let's go over. I don't think knight f6 is right. Knight f6. What if they play knight c6, and then they're gonna play it to play here after, right? You can't play g7 because of this. They're gonna take, right? So, all right. So let's go back. What I was calculating is if knight here, right? So he doesn't have access to this square, so now he has to go here. And then I wanted to play here, check, and he can't go here because then I have knight check, right? And then the knight has to take because it's forked, and then I can push this pawn twice. So the king has to go to b6, right? And I'm gonna take on e5 because the knight can't take because I have the same thing, and the knight can't get there, right? If knight takes on e5, g7, yeah, he can't really do much. Maybe he plays here and then I queen. Okay, so maybe he plays knight f6 to try to go here, right? And then knight d7. Does that work? Knight captures g7, and then e5. Now letting him go here. Do you see that? All right. So this is, you really have to like calculate. I mean, I like endgames a lot because you have to calculate. Here, knight e7, knight c6 check. Not king a6 because of this, right? And if you take, then I'm gonna queen. So instead, knight b6, and then you take because they can't take. They can't get to this square because you're promoting, right? So they instead play this, and then you play knight d7, and it's a check. So now they take, and then e5. Remember, they couldn't go to the square before. They still can't go to this square, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, unfortunately. That's a queen. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. It's tough. It's tough. All right, so let's go into the next exercise. That was nice. I really like that exercise. All right, so white to play. White to play. So wait for the music to start, and then you guys can try to solve it. If you have any answers, put it in the chat. This is a toughie. I think we have to sacrifice a little bit more than a knight this time. Knight d4. I don't know. Okay, let's try to solve it together. Let's try to solve it together. Okay, this is what I thought. I thought a5 was winning because if you play like knight here, it just automatically loses. Knight d4 I think loses as well because it's like the similar concept. They have this pawn and it's gonna roll, right? And we want to promote our pawns. Can I give up everything for a queen? What do you guys think? 3 pawns and a knight? But then he always has this square to go to. So what if we deflect him this way? What do you think, guys? If we deflect him this way, let's say the knight doesn't capture, then we play a4 or king just captures b6. So he has to take. No. Here, push. So what if after that he doesn't? He plays knight c4. Then I think we can play a6. If he plays here, then we just play king b8 and we're safe, right? Because the king can't go here. Because of the principle that we had earlier, remember? That if you stay 1 square diagonal, you cut off the... If you stay 2 squares diagonal, you cut off the knight. Okay, let's go back. I'm not totally convinced yet. If here... Okay, let's play knight d4. What would I play? If I was black, I would just push the pawn, honestly. Right? Oh, Alan, you can just put N, and it just depends on whose turn it is. So knight can just refer to both sides. D2, D2. Yeah, the notation is kind of confusing me, Alan design. Um, so you can put K for king. You don't have to put white king. You can just put king. Like K for king, capital K, and capital N for knight. Pawn moves, you don't have to put anything behind it. You can just put the square, the coordinate where it's going to go. So like this would just be a5, right? Because it's going to a5. Knight would be, if the knight were to jump here, it would be knight c6, right? I think here knight d2 is the optimal solution. A5, and if they do take, then we push. But I don't know, is it winning? Hmm. I don't know. This would be really hard for me, right? And then at least pick up the knight. If he goes here, I really want to just try to pick up the knight. Maybe queen here. If he goes here, then we have here. If we go here, then we have here. If he goes here, then we have that square as well. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is totally winning. Yeah. Okay, so knight d2 now convinced me. Knight d2 I think is the move. Oh, So you want me to take the, so after knight to knight to you take the pawn? Okay, so let's try that. The reason I didn't want to take with the pawn is because this is also queening, right? So after now spend a move, and then he has this knight c4 check, he has h4. And after h4, where are you gonna play? King c7, you have to get out of the way of the pawn, and then I think he can just queen with no problems. He can also stop your pawns. Now he's stopping both of your pawns. And we're winning. So that's why I was kind of hesitant in taking, because the knight can come back. So instead, sacrificing this pawn so that way I only have to push 3 times, instead of going here and then having to move away and wasting time. You can win that race to the queen. I don't think so. I'll look at it again, but I don't think so. Take, take, h4. So let's say we play like this, then we have knight c4 at least. This should be crushing. Knight c4. Even h3 I think is good. Let's play h3. Because we stop your queen, right? So king c7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. H1 equals queen. Bam. And we can stop it in so many ways, but I think the easiest way is just let's say you go here. Let's play here. King c7 here. Yeah. We just keep coming up the board until you finally have to defend your pawns. Or if I can take this and sacrifice my queen, so like something like that. And now I can take, and if you go under, then your pawn can't promote anymore, right? So yeah. Okay. Don't listen to me. Don't worry about it, brother. All right. So we finished those 2 examples. So now there are the next subsection. He says that this is a Botvinnik's formula. Botvinnik's another great chess player. Yeah, so he said Botvinnik's another great chess player. And it says Knight endgames are pawn endgames. That is something Botvinnik once said. What he had in mind is that many of the laws of pawn endings apply equally to knight endings. The same high value is given, for instance, to the active position of the king or the outside passed pawn. Such techniques as the pawn breakthrough, shouldering, the various methods of playing for zigzag, and so forth are seen constantly, not just in pawn endgames, but also in knight endgames. And we shall be convinced of this after studying a few practical examples. Let's begin with a classic endgame. In the diagram, which I'll put up right now, it's black to play. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading. In the diagram, the pawn endgame would be an easy win for black. In the view of the outside passed h-pawn, in the knight endgame, he has considerably more complex problems to solve. And he plays king f6 here. King x f6. A high degree of accuracy is required. The over hasty h4, so instead of here, h4, would allow the white knight to attack the queenside pawns by knight f7, knight d6, and then attacking these pawns. So let's play correctly king f6. All right, so we're going to play knight h7 check, king g7, knight g5, king f6, knight h7, and king e7. So there's a famous grandmaster that once said, all good players repeat moves. And the king retreats, but only briefly. Now the e5 square can be occupied by the knight. Now, he says that if you tried to play king d4 before, it didn't work. But now let's say knight g5, knight e5, king d4. He said instead of king d4, b3 is worth considering in order to prevent the black, in order to prevent black from fixing the queenside pawns by a4, a5, a4, and retaining the option of moving the king to either d4 or to f4. Good point. So king d4, king d6, knight h3, a4 fixing the pawns, knight f4, h4, knight h3, b6, exclamation mark. It says Steinitz rule in action. Nimzovich intends. Oh, and this is this a game by Nimzovich? I'm sorry, I didn't even say the players. Oh, this is by Lasker Nimzovich. Nimzovich is black and Emmanuel Lasker is white. Sorry, should have said that before. All right, so Nimzovich intends b7, b5, and knight c6 check. So he intends bam, b7, b5, and knight c6. Right, he wants to play there. So he wants to play here and here. So, however, the check would have been better delivered with the white knight on h3. Okay, so that's why he loses the tempo. As seen at from the variations. Let's say he played b5 instead. Knight f4, knight c6, king c3. When black can't play knight e5 and due to knight g6 check. Right? So instead of this, he plays here first. Knight f4. Then b5. Right? So now that he plays check and brings the king over, he doesn't have this because he has to go back. Or he doesn't have to, but that's the idea at least. So he says he played knight h3, but the knight should have never left the f4 square where it prevents the move knight e5. White's best defense was king c3 here. Just playing king c3, trying to go after these pawns. In reply, the deflecting knight sacrificed knight g6. So let's go back. Knight g6 doesn't work. Oh, so like knight h. It doesn't work. Because knight captures h3, fails to knight h4, h2, knight f5, and then knight g6. Okay, so cool beans. So he played knight h3, unfortunately. King here, knight to c6. Where's his king move? And he says the straightforward attempt of knight c4, it does not work either, because of c3, king e5, and then b3. Makes sense. Makes absolute sense, yes. Okay. All right, so knight c6 check, king e3, and he says Immanuel Lasker probably rejected king c3 because of king e5, king d3, knight a5 getting to c4. So instead he played, when he played knight c6, he played here. So now he played king c5, king c5, and then king d3, stopping the advance. But he also has this as well. So b, king d3, b4. Wait, it's white. It's black to move, right? King d3, b4. A captures b check. King captures b4. King c2. Knight d4 check. Nimzovich displays outstanding technique. The point of widening the beachhead is to clear the king's path to the opposite wing. But the grandmaster is in no hurry to execute this plan. First, it is useful to reposition the knight to e6, where it hobbles the enemy knight. The consequences of this variation, so instead of knight d4 check, if king c4, then we have knight g5, knight e5, and then knight h3, king d4, and b3. AB, AB, and now I'm going to take here. So the king's going to be here. Even though it's not clear, it should be 1. But instead, he's going to do it the better way. King b1. Knight e6. That way he can go here and also clear the path, right? And I'm also defending the 2 squares for the knight. And I'm also clearing the path for my king. King a2. King c4. King a3. c4, king a3, king d4. King captures. King captures b4. King f3. b5. King g2. And the knight cannot go anywhere. And we're queening first. And so white resigned. Okay, so in knight endgames, they're just like pawn endgames, but you have to calculate a bit more about the knight. So do everything that we've said in pawn endgames, and then just add a knight in there and say, okay, where can the knight go? What's the best position? Is my knight active? Is my king active? Can I get my opponent to zigzag? So think about those when going into knight endgames. Oh, thanks for the poll. Yes, please let me know what you guys want to learn about. You set up this position. I'm gonna put some music in the background as well. Yeah, I don't mind taking suggestions of what I should do. And I think every chapter I'm gonna kind of branch off and make something of another topic. Like I think my next one is going to be like opening preparation, or like advanced tactics. So I have like 3 books on tactics. So I'm going to well, on my phone at least, and I really want to branch off and see what people want to do. So thank you, LA Design. And if you're watching this as a on YouTube, you can comment down below to see what kind of content you want. That'd be awesome. So I'm missing a pawn, and it is white to move. Okay, white to move. All right. So here in the example, it's Botvinnik versus Komov in Moscow, 1969, and I'm gonna read from the text here. White's king is considerably more active than its opponents, and that factor defines his great and probably winning advantage. Okay? So he plays knight g5. It is important to induce black's pawns to advance, as then they will be easier to attack. Also remember that the further back they have, the more reserved tempos they have. Remember, because knight endgames are just like pawn endgames. So you want to reduce the amount of pawn of reserve tempi that they have. That's a point that maybe wasn't introduced here, and it isn't. Okay, cool. Knight g5, f6, knight h7, inducing this to move again, or protecting it. f5, h4, giving him a backwards pawn. And he's saying that if f4 instead, um, the king would have not had the f4 square here. So, no bueno. So we're going to play h4. Waiting tactics must eventually result in zigzag for black, so he lashes out in a desperate attempt to counterattack on the king side. He plays f4 himself. Knight f8. b6 check. In Botvinnik's opinion, there were more practical chances like f3, and if g3, you can play knight f5, knight captures g6, and knight captures g3. Although it's still difficult. Okay, so like, let's say d4, knight f5 check, king e4, knight captures h4, knight e6 check, king c6, knight captures here. Okay. King b5. Trying to go after these pawns. And also maybe even positioning here in some lines. g3. Knight f5. Knight captures g6. Knight h6. Because the knight's undefended, let's say he can't go here. If he goes here, then I go after the pawn, right? Interesting. Can't go really here. Yeah. Wow. Really, really nice. So knight h6 is also a pretty good move. So now he plays knight d5. And that has an exclamation point. King a4. And by exclamation point, it means that it's a good move, or it's a good move. The author thinks it's a good move. Knight e5, king a4, knight c4. I want to give a sideline before I tell you what he plays. If b5, knight e5, king captures a3, knight c6. The knight defends the pawn and prevents a6, a5. If king b5, knight b2, and then there's a barrier, right? So he played knight, king b3 here, knight captures, king captures a3, knight d5, king b3, f4, king c4, knight c7, king captures b4, knight captures a6, and black resigns. The reason being is that white's king is near the action now. Black's king has now just become inactive. We can't go here, so now we can just play like this, and we just play knight c7, get our knight over here, try to win this pawn, and then promote our pawns. Okay. You like voting polls? Well, just tell me what you like. The chapters that are coming after this are pretty short, so I think I can finish this chapter maybe in, well, I'll tell you, maybe like 2 hours or so. So this is an example from Richard Reddy. Okay. Reddy puzzles are always awesome. He contributed a lot to the studies. Okay. It is white to move. Okay, so it does have a lot of text, but I kind of want to solve it with you guys first. So I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes to try to solve this and understand the position. Do you think white wins, white draws, white loses? I don't think he could lose, but let's see. And I'm going to start the music. Okay, the way you would start solving this is just like making moves in your head and what you would do. And I would go from there. But I think this is a draw. I tried all the way, so you can't go here, obviously, right? Because you play king here. If you play here, then the king can just go here. Getting the principle that if it's 2 squares away, right? 2 squares diagonally, then I can stop the knight from advancing. Right? I guess he. And I didn't see a win for him. Okay, so let's go back to the position. I don't see a win, but I would love to see something. Cause Richard's ready to puzzles always make me feel like I'm not a good chess player. Maybe is this a better camera view? Yeah, maybe that's better. Even if I go back, yeah, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna just follow his stuff. So I'm gonna give the example that he gives first. Let's see, it's white. So example he gives first is king b8, and on king b8 you play king b5. Here, on king b8 b5, and he's saying that if knight c6 check, then that's pretty bad because he can play here. King b7, knight c, king c5, knight d4 or b4 are the standard deflecting knight sacrifices, right? Because if the king takes, you take, and then you promote. If the knight takes, you promote. Okay. So instead, you should play knight, king b5. And then, yeah, then that would be easy because now the king has to go back, and then we win the pawn. If the knight moves, then we win the pawn, right? Because the knight has to move. And we take the knight, and then we're in the way. Knight check. Now you can capture. Get out of the way. Or if, let's say, if here, then you can just always keep your knight here. And just dance around the knight. Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's go all the way back. He plays king a7, king a7, king b5. This king a7 is actually exclamation point. King b5, knight b4, king a5. The goal is achieved. The black king stands badly here. It deprives the knight of this square and also fails to control c6. That's interesting. So what would happen if knight b4 takes? Then you play king b6, and then you can. This is so ingenious. This is so smart. Right? So if here, he can't take here, because if takes, then we have this maneuver. Pushing, right? Alright, so king a7 here. Knight b4, king a4. So he can't take anymore. So we're good. And it also deprives the knight of the square. And so now he plays king b8 here. Knight c6. King b7. Exclamation mark. And he gives a note that if king c7, b5, a7, then we have knight d5 check. And going here after the king moves, we go here. All right, so instead of that, we play here, and it deprives the knight of the a5 square. b7, knight d, oh, c6 will be 7. Knight d8 check. Then you play king c7. Knight e6 check. King b8. Plus over minus, and we're winning this position. Because the knight can no longer threaten us. And if he threatens the pawn, we just push. Let's say king c7, king b7, everything is fine. Knight d5. He can no longer control this. Boom. We get a queen. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me put some. I did say I was going to put some music in the background from you guys, so. Yeah, everything's from bensound.com. It gives you like all this royalty free music. And they're pretty good actually. Alright, I'll put this down. Alright, cool. There we go. I think that's the optimal level for me. And in this position, it is white to move, and it's Albert versus Lerner in 1978. And although black might appear to be better thanks to his more active king, white's spectacular pawn break completely changes the picture. So I really want to see this. Knight captures c. What? No way. Wait. Okay. Hold on. No way. You can do that? Do I have the position right? He can do that? Knight captures c5. B captures b4. A captures b4. Hello, give me a girl, because I'm going to get a queen. What? No way. Okay, wait, whoa. Can you capture here? Does that work as well? No, right? Doesn't work. Knight captures. Captures. Boom. Let's say takes. Then you play c5 and you're gonna get a. What? That was hidden to me. Whoa. c5 and then let's say he plays b3 check. King b2. You can take it as well. He says that if you want you can play takes, and if knight e4, king c4 here, and then you play it like that. That's also Botvinnik. All right, so hold on. Takes b4. He says, let's say he plays knight d7. B captures A. King f2. Preparing this. A6, e4, a7, e3. Queen a8, e2, queen e4, queen e1, check, takes, and then a5. Doing it all over again. Can't go here, can't go here. If he goes here, no. We have to play king c3 first to not allow that, and then after, let's say he blocks, right? He can't block, so he has to move the king. And then we play a4. Now he can't block again. And if he doesn't take, then we have this. Sorry if I seem so surprised. Wow. Yeah, that was insane. Normal people do not see that because sacrifice isn't built into our brain. Now, yeah, I could never, I couldn't see that. I could never see that. Well, now I can. Now I know the idea at least, right? So now it's there's this saying, I forgot who said it, but if you stretch your imagination, you can never come back to the original dimensions, right? So think about it one more time. Once you stretch your imagination or your creativity, you expand, you can never come back to the original dimensions that your brain was once in. Now you're thinking in different ways. So this might apply to something else that I might play in the future. Actually, I wonder if I could do this. There we go. That seems a little bit better. I'm here, guys. Okay. And we got some exercises for you guys. So we have 4 exercises. I'm going to let you guys do them and I'm going to let you solve them. But seriously, that knight sacrifice, that got me excited. I was like, whoa, okay, what is this? Hello, let's destroy somebody with this next time. And this is black to move. And I want you to think about, well, not only sacrifices, just because we saw one, but also think about the other ideas that we covered, like Steinitz rule. That's the important one here. Or sorry, Botvinnik's formula. So I'm gonna start some music, and once I start the music, you guys can begin. Actually, let's try this one. Thanks for adding that quote, Alert Design. So it's black to move here. I'm gonna give you guys about a minute and a half. I'm gonna try to solve it with you guys actually. Um, and let's do this. It's black to move. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll switch the board around for you guys. Maybe that might be a bit easier. All right, black to move. Wow, I think I solved this one. Mm, I like my solution, but it's mm, knight g5, and then the pawn can take, right? The pawn can take. So like if knight g5, then h captures g5. Um, okay, so I'll tell you what I was thinking, and it kind of makes sense in my head. So don't judge me if I get it wrong, but I was thinking I just want to play d3 here. And like let's say here, then check check or I don't know. I just seem really nice for me, but knight f6 is also nice. Knight g5, I mean we just take, right? And they just have an extra piece. There's there's nothing to do here. So let's go a little bit deeper. What would you guys do? They have to take the pawn, just advance. Yeah. What if this is just like Knight Endgames? I mean Pawn Endgames, right? And we're trying to make a breakthrough, right? Yeah, I'm sorry you can't master Rook Endgames. Yeah. um. So what about Knight C3? And if we take, right, and then sorry, takes, and then we play here, and then we can make a queen, right? If he doesn't take, then I'm gonna take the knight. The knight's trapped, basically, right? If knight e3, d takes e3, right? And if they can never take because I'm gonna play here, and if king takes, then can I just play a4? And they still can't take. I'm up a knight. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And then that's what I want to play, right? That's so cool. I want to see if that actually works though. Does that really work? I mean, there's only two moves, right? Taking and 93. Can't really move the king. No king moves do anything. What? I'm liking these knight sacrifices. Let's say, okay, so king captures. You can play knight d1 check and a take, right? You can even do that, but depending on where he goes. Okay, let's say he goes here, and we take here. A4 is coming, right? King d2, a4, king c3, a3. We're gonna play here next. If b4, c4. Now the king's basically in zugzwang by himself. So now he has to play, like, if he plays king d4, then we can just push and push. Wow. This is some rough stuff right here. Janet 1998, welcome to the stream. That's some rough stuff right there. So I think I found the move. Does anybody have another move that they suggest? I think knight c. Wow. Yeah, knight c3, and then knight captures, and the knight's stuck. The knight can't go anywhere. What? Mind blown. Like these are the hidden moves that I'm talking about. Like our brain isn't programmed to see these. Norwegian chess giant. It's been a while, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. Norwegian chess giant used to come to my streams, I think, quite a few times. And then I guess maybe the time changed, or he just doesn't like, he didn't like me anymore, so he stopped coming. But welcome back all the same. All right, next one. We're gonna go to the next one. That was insane. That one was an awesome one. So let me go into some. So Norwegian chess giant, working a lot. Haven't been online when your stream was. Well, I'm glad you're working. Um, but it's all right. You're here now, and that all that matters. And LA Design, yeah, you told me not to, listen to your solution, but you ignored. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I won't ignore you anymore. Sorry about that. All right, so this is the position. It is white to move. Okay, so white to move. I'm gonna give you guys about a minute. I think about a minute is good. What's the key square that this piece has to get there? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it can't take here, right? So then that means that the knight's the only thing. Oh, sorry, I'm solving it for you guys. So I'm gonna put on the music, and then you guys can start it. Ready, set. All right. So yeah, I think King C5 might be the solution. I mean, I don't know whether to push or King C5 first, but King C5 is definitely this. So I do want to search like the obvious move. Why can't we play the obvious move A5? Just want so if King D6, A6. Oh, because this is a check. That's why, right? Bam, it's a check. So let's not even give him the check, and that's why, right? Boom. Then what does he play? 95. Push this bad boy. 97. What? Wait, 97. If we take, we allow the king to come around. So no, let's not take. Instead, boom. Right? He can't play here because then we have here. And now we can take whenever he comes back here. Right? If he plays 95 check, then we have king c7. And he doesn't have any other resources. And he can't even push a spawn. Threatening to come here, right? So what should we play here to avoid that? I'm just thinking simple, like knight move, right? Simple knight move, get out of the way. Just get these pieces out the way, right? Let's say knight c4. King d5. King b6. Right? If he takes, then bam, bam. Let's say he plays f5. All right. And we have a queenski. That was sick. King e5, knight f3, king f5. Pawn push. You want to try the pawn push? I don't. We can go back. So we can go over your solution. What's your solution, Alloy design? Well, the king can't go to e5. So okay, so king c5, and you talk about king e5, and then you said knight f3, king f5, pawn push. So let's say we're just talking about this. I'm gonna push my pawn if you do that. We can have a race if you want. I can also play knight c4 check, threatening some stuff like this in the future. But a7 is fine too because I'm queening one step ahead of you. Knight f, king f4. Then my queen has to go somewhere in g2, so I can't go here, right? Maybe knight d2 after. Where your pieces can't move right now, right? Everything has to stay together. So you have to give me something. Something has to give. How do I win this pawn? I have to get to this square, right? Still can't move the knight. Still can't move the pawn, so can't move here. Can't move here. Gotta move there. Well, now we just win the game, right? And we win the knight. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a cool one. I like these knight sacrifices, you know? These are really cool. The knight sacrificing itself and that tactic was really, really nice. Oh, also, how do I link my Discord? Hold on. I'm gonna search it right now. Invite people. So I did start a chess Discord. So you guys are all invited. Come to the Discord. Um, we have different channels for like chess memes and getting better at chess. And I just started it. So if you have any suggestions, please feel more than free to message me about them. And let's just grow the community and get more people excited about chess. All right, let's go. Let's go into the next example. So how's work, brother? How's work, Norwegian chess giant? Put this a little bit lower for you guys. Yeah, everybody in the Discord's really friendly. I love it. They're awesome to be around, and they're just looking for, ways to get better at chess. And I'm all for that. That's why I started it. All right, so here it is, white to move. White to move. Let's solve this. Okay, this looks easy. Like really easy. Am I missing something? Okay. Working is a pain. Oh, you already have. Okay, thank you. Working is a pain. Too many weird customers. Looking forward to going back to writing my master's thesis in a. I'm assuming that's a week. Yeah. What are you doing your master's in? What are you researching, or what's your thesis about? If you don't mind sharing it with everybody. About how Norway produces super grandmasters, and you're the top country right now because of Magnus Carlsen. So it is white to move in this position. I think there are so many answers here, but find the one that suits you. You know, and it's usually the easy puzzles that get me. So like, let me look at it again. Okay, so and I guess I can show you my like strategy. Okay, don't worry, take your time, Ray. Writing about Norwegian television on chess. So almost, yeah. Oh, I'm a psychic. I'm a psychic, guys. Knight e2, king d6, knight f4. I like that. I like that solution a lot. I like design. Okay, let's try it. There's like this annoying mosquito flying around my desk. Okay, so let's try 92. Let's say king c4. What happens after that? Then you wanted to play knight f4. Huh. So what if king b3? I'm just gonna go after your pawns, right? And I'm gonna just sacrifice whenever. If you go here, I don't have to take. I can just come back, right? Or can I just take? Maybe, oh, maybe here I sacrifice myself here. And I'm gonna take this pawn for free. Knight d3, and then a5, right? That's a draw. Yeah, so I don't like that. I think we're winning here. I honestly think we're winning. I do think 92 is good. But it has to be coupled. Like, I think like even knight g1, right? Knight g1, king d5, a4. Ah. Let's see. And you guys said that knight f5. Alright, so let me go back actually, sorry. So knight f5 in this position. Alright, hold on. Knight f5 immediately? Yeah. I don't see any problem. I don't think he can take, obviously, right? So, here, knight g3. This is a solution that I was thinking about, just to push the pawn. But then, kind of gets messy. Right? I think there's a more clear-cut answer that we're not looking at. I mean, I think this wins. Don't get me wrong. I think it wins 100%. I think it wins, but there has to be something better. Like, there just has to be, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that concrete idea that's like, So the only plan that Black has really is to go to the queen side, right? And to sacrifice his knight for the knight on the king side. So I want to look at that. Drunk chess. Well, we can always say that that is a pretty good night. That always makes you laugh. 95, 92, 96, and can't get the pawn anymore. Um. Okay, so knight f5, knight g2, push the pawn. No, you can play knight f4, because here, then we play here. Is that what you guys were talking about? Yeah, drunk chess is right. Yeah, we just play knight h5 check. Oh, so knight. Wait, no, because we're gonna take on knight g6. So you can't push the pawn to g7 because then you have knight h5 check, and then I'm gonna take the pawn with the knight. So if knight g2, okay, so I'm gonna go over drunk chess line. So let me go back. So I'm pretty sure it's after this knight g2, and you play knight g3, and then knight f4, and then what do you want to do after knight f4? What would you do after that? And I think now he has a even better position, although I think it's still winning or draw-ish. I think you really have to kind of decipher the code. I wish you could show like a second board with the starting positions for when you play out the proposed solutions. I could do that. I can just make the same position twice, right? Yeah, but that sounds like a really good idea. So let me just think about it and see what the best way to do it is. LA design, but that's a really good idea. Thank you for the suggestion. I think I added on my Twitch. There should be a suggestion box down below. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Um, cool. All right, so I think so. This is my idea. Let me go back. Now, so I'm all about restricting play. So I just want to play a4. Restrict the play on this side first. So like, let's say he plays here. Then we can go for the ideas that we were talking about. Knight f5 and then pushing the pawns, right? Because like, let's say he plays knight g2. Can't we deflect? We can play king e5 so he doesn't have these squares, right? Doesn't have these squares anymore, so now he has to try to come back somehow. And we just win. Yeah. King d6 wins. King f4 wins. We can go with king f4. You know, takes. We can just push, takes, push. That's the idea that I had. Solidify everything on the queen side first, and then worry about the king side after. So now the king is not there to support the knight anymore. Let's say he plays a5, and I'll play b5. And now if king c5, then again the same idea: knight f2. Sorry, knight f5, threatening to take. And if he plays here, then I can just push, right? If he plays takes, I take obviously, and that's an easy win. So that's what I was thinking. Lull the timer with that message. Should pop up any minute now. Good night. That's hilarious. And also, if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube, go ahead and do so. I have a lot of videos, and if you want to watch the lessons on your own time, that's a great way to do it. Also, my Instagram, I post tactics at least 3 times a day, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. Just go check it out if you want to do that. What if Black King plays e4? Okay, let's go back. All right, so here, and I'm assuming, so let me know your line after my a4. Let me know. Because right now he can't play e4 because my knight's protecting it. So if like maybe he plays king d4. And this is the key thing. This is the key thing that that you should know. And just give me 1 second, drunk chess. That knights are only good if play is on one side. So remember that when you're playing knight endgames or knight versus bishop endgames. Sorry. If you're playing a knight versus bishop endgame and you have the knight, you should try to create play just on one side of the board. That way your knight can jump to different squares and make problems. Okay, no problem. So, okay, drunk chess, you said a5, so I'm playing a5. a5, I'm playing b5 right now. Right? So if you play check, if you play here or here, I'm checking you immediately. You cannot play here, and you cannot play here. So all of these squares are banned. I mean, all of these squares are bad. So you have 2 squares, 1 and 2. You have only 2 squares available to you. You can move the knight, but obviously I'm just gonna push. Right? So you see that everything is blocked off for the black king. And that's where I was going with my idea. Like I saw that the knight f5 was a really good idea, but I really wanted to solidify everything on the queen side first before I did anything on the king side. That way my knight has more power over there. And if anything, I can just bring my knight to the queen side since everything is blocked up, so I can now take advantage of those locked pawns. Right, so I'll give another example. So like let's say if here, then knight f5, if knight f3, obviously we just push. Knight d2, threatening to check, and we just play g7, doesn't matter. We can just play here. It doesn't matter where we play. And this is easily a win. Okay. All right, so next page. All right, let's put the music down. I like that music a lot. It's supposed to be like a lounge music and stuff like that. Thank you for looking at Allery Design. Okay, so we're gonna go over pawns on the same side, and I'm just gonna set up the position that he gives first, and then I'm gonna read right from the text. Okay. So that's the position, and it is black to move. So I'm gonna switch over the sides like this. Black to move. Okay. Is it possible to convert an extra pawn if all the pawns are on the same side? Practice in such positions has shown that, with the exception of pawn endgames, a player's chances of success are greatest in knight endgames. For example, 4 versus 3 is considered a win. Bro, do you see this? That's the look of excitement because I know I'm gonna learn some stuff right now. 4 versus 3 in any other kind of really like knight endgame, rook endgame, bishop endgame, queen endgame is not a win. But in the knight endgame, you have the greatest chances. Okay, get your thinking caps on, get your notes, because you're gonna need to jot some stuff down. Okay. So king f6, g3, king e5, knight c6 check, king e6, king e3, f5. A reasonable plan. In principle, black tries to trade off as many pawns as possible. Fine. He also examines some other defensive plans. Okay, so let's go back. Um, he also goes over knight d6. If king d7, knight d4, f6. Oops, sorry, not knight e5, knight d4, f6, f4, king e7, h4. White strengthens his position to the maximum by advancing his kingside pawns, because then these pawns are tied down and they can't be moved. If they move, they lose power. Knight f7, g4. Wow, this is a huge pawn chain. King d7, stopping the knight from going here. King d3, king e7, king c4, king d6, g5, exclamation mark. F captures g, h captures g. Now this pawn is a backwards pawn, this pawn's stuck. h6. Otherwise, black will soon run out of moves. So after h6, e5 check, e5 check, king e7, g captures h, knight captures h6, king d5, knight g4, knight c6 check, king e8, e6, sorry, and basically saying that this is plus over minus. This is a win. So let's go back all the way. That was some tough stuff. There's a lot of lines here. But basically, other defenses aren't really that good. So he said this is the best defense, trying to trade off pawns. So f5. F5, king e3. King e6, king e3, f5. This is move 4. Knight d4 check. Okay. King f6. E captures. G captures. King f4. Strengthening the position of the king, threatening to go either here or here. King g6. King e5. We're in the house. Knight f7 check. King e6. Knight d8. King e7. Knight b7. Okay. Then knight e6. Wow, what an excellent move. Then his knight cannot go here, and now cannot go here. So he only has one move here, and that puts him away from all the action. What a beautiful move. And then after king a5, no, knight a5. You're back. Welcome back, Ray. After knight a5, knight f4 check, king g5, h4, king h6, king f6. Uh-oh. During the course of our analysis, we obtained a number of one positions involving a small number of pawns. Nevertheless, the configurations 1 pawn versus 2, 2 pawns versus 3 can frequently be saved. Defending them, however, requires accuracy. And this is plus over minus because he's getting mated. The knight can't go anywhere. Knight b, let's see, knight here. We're just going to play g4. This is checkmate. He has to capture. We capture, and that's checkmate as well. Okay. All right, we have one more tragicomedy, and then we are done with Knight Endgames. Guys, I've learned so much here with this Knight Endgame. Whoa. Like, my mind is exploding with all of the content. All right, so this is Fine versus Najdorf in New York, 1949. So it is white to move. So we have the correct board set up. Bam, bam. Okay. So white to move, and this is a tragic comedy. So this is a tragic comedy. A tragic comedy is Dvoretsky's section where he takes really, really strong and famous grandmasters and shows how they made mistakes to bring them back to the mortal plane and saying, hey, they're human too, and we all can make mistakes. So in the text, he says, white should hold the position. It is essential, however, not to move the pawn from h2. So let's see what he did. First move, h3. All right. And now Block has a forced win. He executes a deflecting sacrifice of his knight, which allows him to snap off the pawn at h3 and thereby obtain a decisive past h pawn. Knight e3 check. King h2. Knight c2. King g2. Knight e1 check. King f2. King captures h3. King. Letting this be okay. Boom. Takes. King g2. Knight e2. And h5. How does he stop that? Boom. h4. Knight e6. Right? He's in zugzwang right now because if he moves the king, takes, and I'm gonna come back over, right? Knight e6. He can't play this, right, because of this. So he plays here. So if he takes, and then if king d3, we can play here. And if here, then we play here, and he can't protect the pawn anymore. And this is a winning endgame, as we learned in our pawn endgames. Wow, thank you guys for in the chat, for sticking with me. Hello, Undercooked Chicken 1. It's your boy, Japanese Tutor. Thank you for all the support recently, and thank you for coming into the Discord as well. If you haven't already, please follow me on Twitch. If you're on YouTube watching this, hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell. That way you get my updates. Follow my Instagram. It's linked under below. And let's get this lessons. Let's get this stuff.